And we are back 2 weeks on the trot, and hopefully the start of much more regular content coming from myself featuring all the cars on this channel. And yeah, we better get into this video because there is a lot to cover. Now, for those of you that are new to this channel, this is of course my 99 Porsche 911. It's a Carrera 2 full GT3 kit. And if you aren't new to the channel, you will know that we've already taken this car on a little road trip, done the introductions and whatnot, taken it to the Nürburgring, taken it to Stuttgart, and then started doing some work on it. So we'll catch up so far on what has been done to this car. So the first thing that we did to the car after we came back from the Stuttgart and the Nürburgring trip was give it a service. So it has been to a Porsche main dealer. It's had a full minor service, all the fluids and everything like that, and then also it was due its auxiliary belt. So we got that done as well. Since then, it had an MOT, and one of the things that it flagged up was that it needed brakes. The front brakes are all corroded on the inner lip, and so we've swapped those out with some brand new brakes, and we've even painted the inside bit just in black, just to keep it looking mighty fresh. Now, the other thing that the car needed doing was the coffin arm. So when we went to Germany, basically it did a couple of thousand miles in a very short period of time, and anything that I didn't know when I bought it was all of a sudden a little bit more obvious, and that included the coffin arms. And that meant effectively at low speeds, or when you push down on the suspension like that, the car basically made a really bad knocking noise. Now, I have actually fixed this, but I made an absolute mess up of the video. Managed to get next to no footage, and yeah, it was a much harder job than I initially thought. So I'll walk you through a little bit of that now. So on a 911, you have 4 coffin arms. You've obviously got 2 at the back and 2 at the front. And on any other car, they will probably be called bottom arms. Now, on this car in particular, the bottom arms, or the coffin arms as they call them, basically have a few different bushings in. They've got one bushing that attaches the bottom arm to the car, somewhere in the middle. They've got a ball joint at this end which goes into your hub, and then they've got another bushing in the middle that connects into what's called a tuning fork. Now, by doing this, we managed to sort out a ball joint on each corner, so 4 of those, and a further 8 bushings, but it didn't fix the problem. Now, as usual, this is something that I tried myself. I did order the 4 coffin arms from a place called Spider Performance, so if you do need to do this job, then I do highly recommend those. The parts that came were really good quality. The fronts were relatively easy to do. I managed to do them, no problems at all, but the backs were completely seized, and I'll show you where. So around the back of the car, you will not be able to see, because obviously that is where all the engine is, but the arm goes from there and it goes upwards into the middle. Now, the problem with this is that the bolt that holds the rear coffin arms to the chassis is the one that controls your camber. And if you don't know what camber is, it's basically whether your wheel sits like that or inwards like that, and you can control that with the bolt that holds the coffin arm in. Now, these were completely seized, and again, I did have to admit defeat on these. They did have to be cut off completely, so I took it back to the Porsche main dealer that did all the servicing on this car, got them to cut it off and got them to fit the new ones. So all the coffin arms are done. And unfortunately, although that really did help the problem and it really did quieten it down, it hasn't completely eradicated it. So we've got some more things to try. So in a video very shortly, we are going to go back to the front end, because that is where the knock-in was coming from, and basically do the anti-roll bar links and also the anti-roll bar bushings, which seem to be the next best thing to try get rid of some of these creaks. Anyway, that's not all. There's still plenty more for us to fix on this car. We've got this wheel bolt which needs drilling out and putting back in with a fresh one. I have got the new bolt, I just need to find somebody to drill it out, because I'm not feeling majorly confident with that. Then we're on to the minor things, just like getting the front bumper a little bit of paint. You can't really see that there because I've touched it in, but yeah, the front bumper does need painting, and then we can get on to some more interesting and performance related things. So, I don't know, like braided lines, any sort of suspension changes. I do fancy changing the top mounts and everything like this, but this project is very much about getting the basics right first, and then we will start doing the fun stuff. But today we have got some really big and exciting news for the Porsche, and a little bit of bad news for the Audi coming later in the video. I know I did say this in the last video and totally forgot to mention it, but yeah, this is the one. So stay tuned till the end to find out a little bit of a, let's just call it a garage update. Anyway, let's get off.
A few moments later.
So big news for the Porsche, you say. What is it? Well, it is today, starting with a thank you to Heritage Parts Centre. Now, Heritage Parts Centre is a huge supplier of parts for all sorts of old VWs and Porsches. So it doesn't matter whether you drive an old Polo like this one, a camper van like this one,
Hey!
or in fact a 911 like this one, because Heritage Parts Centre have just started doing all sorts of parts for classic Porsches. And the thing that I really love about working with companies like Heritage Parts Centre is it's for enthusiasts and it's run by enthusiasts. And it doesn't take long to go down their Instagram page, have a look at some of the staff cars, the meets they put on, and all that sort of stuff that they do to get involved with the community, including sponsoring videos like this, which makes it a great company to work with. And the great thing about working with enthusiast-run companies like Heritage Parts Centres is that they want to support enthusiasts like me with my projects. And not only my projects, they also want to support you with yours. So they've offered all viewers of this channel a 10% discount on anything across the website, be it Polos, Golfs, Porsches, whatever you have got. They do parts for every car, and you can save 10% off with the code MATTY10 as pictured below. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel, and if you do need any parts, you are heading over to Heritage. Help them, help me, help you. It all goes full circle, and hopefully it means that I can carry on making content like this for you guys. Right, back to the job. So Porsches are actually designed to be able to change the brake pads without taking the caliper off, but today, because we're changing the discs as well, we will need to take the caliper off. As you can see, I'm just removing the bolts for the calipers, removing the locating screws for the disc, and then taking off the brake pad wear sensor. The next thing you will need to do is just unclip this little retaining clip, and then we need to get the locating pin out of the caliper, which will free up the brake pads. And this is definitely the most professional way to do it. Once this pin is out, the brake pads will be free to come out, but because I'm taking the whole caliper off, I'm just going to do that part first. So I just continue taking the bolts out of the caliper and then just pushing the brake pads back into the piston so we've got a little bit of movement. Just put the caliper in a safe place, give the disc a twist, and it should just pop off. Okay, so quite a good time to pause. Obviously you can see that we've got the rotor and the caliper off. Now, we're obviously going to be putting a new rotor on, we're going to get some new brake pads in there, and also the brake wear indicator that I haven't taken off yet, but I just thought I'd take this opportunity to just show you the bottom arms that are replaced. So if you can see there, this is the bottom arm that we've replaced. You can see it's shiny and new. That is obviously the ball joint, that is the middle bushing, and then obviously there is another bushing at the other end. So yeah, replace those on this side, the other side, and also the front, but that is what a coffin arm looks like. As you can see, there is plenty more arms and stuff in the rear suspension. It's a really complicated setup, but yeah, it all seems to be all right. Everything looks in good condition and fairly clean. Springs look good, no sort of leaks from the shockers. So yeah, right, let's show you the parts that we're putting back on. And so this is what Heritage have sent us. We've got some Febby Bilstein brake wear indicators, we've got some TRW pads, and obviously these are the discs. So yeah, if I can get into these one-handed. And there we go, I've absolutely trashed the box by accident, but we've got two brand new fresh brake discs. They've got some sort of anti-corrosion coating on them as well. And then obviously we've got the pads just in here. Both sides just in there. This is obviously the old one, not in bad condition, but still a fair amount away from the fresh new shiny one. So we won't muck about, we'll get them fitted straight back to the car. It's been a quick job so far, let's see if we can keep it up. Now for the easy bit of fitting it all back together. Obviously, if you put everything in a safe place, everything should be laid out, and this should be really, really easy. So we're just going straight in with the disc, put that back on, put your locating pins back on, and then get that caliper secured. Once the caliper is secured, stick your brake pads back in, and then just start working through the retaining pins, just so that it never falls out. Last step, obviously, get your wheel on, put the bolts in, torque them up, lower the car to the ground, and we are done. Easy as that. It is worth noting that changing discs and pads on a Porsche is probably one of the easiest cars that I've ever done this job on. And moving on to the other side, just to demonstrate this, I've just done one massive time lapse, and it actually took 15 minutes exactly from jacking the car up to the car getting back on the ground. 15 minutes, discs and pads, easy as that. So I do definitely recommend giving this job a go yourself. You'll be surprised just how quick and easy it is. And there we go, another task completed on the 911. The new discs, pads and wear sensors are fitted, and we've just come out on a little drive just to bed them in a little bit. I do just have to say a massive shout out to VW Heritage. This video would not be possible without them. They have sponsored this video and I'm very thankful for that and the parts that they've supplied. So if you do need any parts for your own Porsche to do this job, or like I said earlier in the video, any sort of VW parts, then please use the link in the description below and remember to use code MATTY10 for 10% off everything. And I haven't forgotten what I said. I did say that we're going to be doing a little bit of a garage update, and as some of you have already guessed, the A3 has gone to a new home. We have of course got the Mark 5 Golf Edition 30 project live on the channel now. The GTI obviously wasn't meant to replace the Audi, and it hasn't. The Audi has been replaced by another daily driver, but unfortunately that car probably will not feature on the channel. But like always, we've got the Porsche, we've got the Edition 30, the Polo will be making a comeback very soon, possibly after winter, but maybe before. And we have also got some Up GTI content coming, haven't we, Mrs. Camera Lady? Everyone loves Up GTI content. So thank you very much for watching. Make sure you are clicking that subscribe button, giving the video a thumbs up, leaving a comment down below what content you want to see on any of the cars in future. Make sure to check out VW Heritage, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.